Hello, I'm Tommy Moore from the Bartitzer Lab, and in this video we're going to look at some of the combative benefits of throat seizures. Now again, this is something that the modern combatives community tends to eschew because again, for a lot of ways there are pretty simple ways to counter it. It's looked upon as not a particularly useful technique, and that is in seizing, gripping, tearing at the throat. But in reality, these are a huge component of what's known as HAPV, habitual acts of physical violence. Seizing the throat is a really smart thing to do for a number of reasons, and I'll go through some of the reasons why I quite like this technique. So the first element of seizing the throat, again, is making sure that it's both percussive. So think of like a cradle blow here. You're using it as a striking tool, and then it is grip orientated. So you hit and then you grip. You've got to make sure that you're not just fumbling for the grasp. You are striking that area. You're striking into the windpipe here. You're striking it. You want it to collapse this whole area. You want to really smash into that cartilage, that relatively soft cartilage. And then you want to make sure that you've got a solid seizure. And again, if you're practicing things like rice bags, bean bags, lead pellets, whatever, getting used to being able to hit and then maintain a solid, nasty ass grip, that's important. Really grip fuck out of it. When you grip the throat, when your throat is gripped, it's a really visceral response that comes to you because it no longer feels like a slugging fight or a wrestling fight. It feels fucking dangerous. So when someone takes a really decent grip behind the windpipe on the throat, so when people, a lot of people strangle too shallow. If you really grab a lump of that and you've got relatively good grip strength, it puts the fear of fucking God into you, and that the thing that you might have been planning to do before, you're now concerned about being able to breathe. Your eyes are watering. A lot of this is about mental game. If he was prepared, if I was to do the same level of force, but he's prepared, it won't take him by surprise. It won't unbalance him psychologically. But mid-fight, if I just go in for a ballistic seizure, from here, will probably put the shits up him. At least for the seconds I need to do something percussive. So it can take you off balance, fills you full of fear. The person doing it, you feel a good sense of control. So I'd really advise getting good at these shots with your left hand if you're right-handed, being able to take a shot, ballistically seize here, and then be able to use that to wind up your concussive shot, whatever you wanted to do. So ballistic throat grasping, Carpe Jugulum, grabbing people by the neck. You see it in a huge number of traditional martial arts. You see it in a huge number of wartime combatives. It's fallen out of favour, but it can have really good surprising effects on the opponent. The opponent that thought they were in striking range, and now they're being seized by the throat. That's a nasty thing. And again, you can crunch that and then abandon it. So you may wish to grip and then rip. Now obviously it's not a kung fu movie. You're not going to pull out a chunk of throat, but you just want to cause exit damage too. So once you grip it, don't just let it go. You really kind of pull it, drag it, tear it. That's what you want in your mind psychologically. So once you've got that ballistic grip, make sure it hits and then grips. Once you've achieved that, cement it, make it cause damage. Then when you want to let go, really kind of rip it out and be ready to follow through with something else. So seizing the throat has many, many benefits. What it can also allow me is it can lift his chin. So if he's particularly canny and he's keeping his chin tucked, this is a relatively slim profile weapon. So if I can get this in here, I can extend his chin up a little bit, allowing me then to smash him with something else. So again, I can pop his chin up a little bit, make his head a little bit looser for me to smash in that punch, that palm strike, that elbow, that headbutt, whatever you want to do. So that grip here can often be very, very, very useful. Another element is that once you've got this, it's a relatively good lever. People do it instinctively in combat because one of the great things it's good at is moving fuckers. So obviously, if I'm fighting in the middle of a field and I grab him here, unless I've got a grip of steel, he'll step back and he'll squirm, and eventually that will lose efficacy. But if you're fighting in an urban environment, if you're fighting in a stairway, in a house, anywhere really indoors, I have enough time to ballistically grip this and probably bounce his head off the wall. Yeah, I've got all the time in the world I need, a half a second, to smash it, grip it. It's a very good lever of a human being, having a throat. Then you can drive that one or two-handed into that doorway, into that bar, into that stool which is over there, which knocks him over, into that table, into an area, let's imagine he's pinned against the wall now, into an area where I can cause some serious damage. Or I could draw a tool, I could draw a phone, I could do something else. So that immediate visceral grip can cause damage because it's a strike. It can gain control, and from that you can decide to abandon it with a rip out, or use that to lift and manipulate the head to strike. It also allows me to index. So if I can't see, let's say I've just been twatted and I'm seeing stars, you know, I can't orientate myself. If I can get a lump of this throat, even if I can't see, I can work out where the rest of his body is. So if I can't really see, but I've got this, I know where his head is, I know where his bollocks are, I know his knees are, I know where his back is. So I can use that to make a mental map of what I might want to do. So again, it's a great kind of base to be in, to know where everything else is and should be, gripping a good chunk of that throat. And like I mentioned, being able to slam people into objects or gain some space to draw an object of your own. So there are many, many good benefits for those tracheal seizures. You know, so if you do want to explore something and it's probably been on the shelf for a little while for you, like it has been for many people, practice, you know, develop your grip, use the sandbags, use grip strengtheners, use kettlebells, use stuff that make your digits solid. Get used to being able to flow in percussive shots and percussive seizures. You know, being able to hit and seize. And once you've seized, have an immediate plan as to whether you just want to smash that in a bit, rip off, whether you want to grip this and use that to reposition and smash him with something, or if you want to grip this and just drive that opponent into something hard that you can bounce him off. Either way, it's an underloved, under-respected tool. Yes, it has its weaknesses, but if you do it hard, if you do it fast and you have a plan, tracheal seizures, going full Carpe Jugulum is a really interesting tool to add to your toolkit.